Hey folks, good afternoon and welcome to another live Linux walkthrough. YouTube been a bit unstable at the moment in European countries, so hopefully the stream is holding up for us here today. But welcome along and thank you for joining us here this afternoon. We're going to be today looking at an easy way to install Arch Linux onto your hardware. And the reason for this walkthrough in particular today is because I myself personally am still having difficulties. I don't know why. Perhaps I need a bit of gentle nudging and helpful hints here. Installing vanilla Arch onto my main production desktop system. I think probably I do follow the steps correctly, but then I get towards the end and I have all sorts of problems with the bootloader, so I give up. And my next alternative really is to find an Arch alternative which gives me a desktop environment and installs as close to vanilla Arch as possible. Now, my main priority daily driver is generally Endeavour OS. Manjaro I tend to turn towards for my secondary option there, but then I thought to myself there must be other Arch installs out there which will offer me the chance to be able to at least install a vanilla alternative to Arch Linux there without having to go through Arch Linux myself. So I am quite a lover of Arch Labs, and I've installed that on 2 of my production machines and had no problems there at all. But here on this streaming desktop, I can't seem to get Arch Labs to work, unfortunately. So I don't know quite what's going wrong there. But every time I plug the live USB in there, it boots into the installer. But as soon as I start to run a few of the scripts that it wants to run on the opening installer process there, it tends to get stuck. And it just freezes my machine, so I give up on that one there. I can only probably put that down to the fact that there might be a bit of an issue with some of my hardware, or there is a problem within the recent November ISO there, which I will just wait for a future release to see if that improves in any way, shape or form. So I thought to myself, let's just do some Googling for some other Arch alternatives that can offer me as near to vanilla as possible. So, as I was doing my research, I came across EasyArch. Now, how easy and brilliant is this title here? EasyArch. It couldn't be any easier than this to install onto your desktop, and you're up and running within 10 minutes with as near vanilla Arch as you can possibly get. So let's give this one a go. So here I have loaded up the EasyArch website. I will say it's not the greatest websites to find, because at this present moment in time it's one of those sites that it's taken a while to come up through the ranks, but I mean, with a title such as EasyArch, it can't actually be long for before we start seeing that one coming up through the search engine ranks there, of course. But anyway, this is an easy way to install Arch Linux with great ease. So this is their website here over at easyarch-iso.com. They could probably do with trying to get a better domain name for this one, but we'll probably see some improvements coming from that over this year or so. But yeah, I'd probably try to see if you could get easyarch.com. That would be a lot easier. Or easyarch.io, that might also help you. But anyway, here we go. So here we are, EasyArch website. So let's just take a look at what EasyArch is first of all. Let's take a look at their About page here. So it is an Arch Linux install image. It's not a new Linux distribution that we know, so what you will get is absolutely as basic Arch Linux as you could possibly get with this one. You can use the live ISO to install the system to your hard drive, which is what we're about to do in this demonstration today. It is without a doubt one of the most popular Linux distributions out there. We're talking about Arch overall. We're not talking about this particular Arch. However, whoever uses it, of course, it will of course be very simple and offer you the vast collection of the latest software and tools which are available to you out there. Now, one of the things I was looking at here is that you can basically install this Arch Linux system onto your machines, and you've got two ways of doing it. You can do an offline mode, much the same you can do with Endeavour OS. What that will do is that will put the default XFCE desktop environment onto your machine there. If you choose to go with online, you've got the option there to download the desktop environment of your choice, that being GNOME, Budgie, of course Cinnamon, and any other kind of desktop environment that you might like out there, because it's Arch. So you've got the option to basically just download your favorite desktop environment from the Arch repositories there. But here today we are going to be going with the basic of basic installs. So we're just going to go with the offline XFCE, and once we get booted up into the XFCE, I know for a fact, because this is an old ISO, that it will load in via XFCE 4.14. So when we do a system update, we should hopefully see the 4.16 release come through the line now. So excuse the beep from the laptop there, as I just booted that one up there. So what we're going to do now is install this baby. So just to say that this download you can get from SourceForge, which you can obviously get from their website, or you can actually just Google EasyArch, and you'll see straight away the first of the links in the search results there is the SourceForge page. So let's now go ahead and, well, I mean, I've already downloaded and put this onto my my USB drive here, and I'm now booted into my laptop. So let's look at the laptop now, and excuse me while I just adjust the resolution of my screen here, which obviously should have been adjusted originally, but OBS is obviously reset this for me. So if I go into display, let me just see here quickly. Yeah, so if I go to here, that's fine. And if I just, oh yes, so it is the display that's wrong, right? Let me just reset this one. Okay, so we've now got the full screen. You can see the panel that's now appeared on screen. Brilliant. Okay. So when you boot into the ISO for the first time, this is what you are granted with. So you've got the option here to choose a desktop layout. So you can have it showing the panel at the bottom and the start menu to the left. You can have the panel at the top with the start menu to the left, or you can have the panel to the very left hand side and the panel in the top left, of course, there, or you can have the panel on the right hand side and the start menu to the right there. Of course, most default packages installs have the panel at the bottom, but most people that use XFCE would be quite familiar with having the panel at the top with the start menu to the top left hand side there. I'm going to, just for the purpose of this demonstration today, choose the default bottom and the start menu to the left. So we click next now. And it's here we've got the option to choose a layout. So what would you like it to look like? Well, you can go with the default theme, or of course you can go with a Windows 10 like theme, Windows 7 XP 95, or you can go with a Mac OS like theme. Now if you go with Mac OS, what that would do is obviously put you a kind of transparent type panel at the top of the screen, and bring you the Plank dock as well. So I'm going to go with the default theme in this one and choose the preferred dark variant of this here. Remember, of course, we haven't installed EasyArch just yet, but we are looking at this as a live ISO. And that's it. Once you've chosen your layouts, you then just close the screen down. So you can now have a nice play around with the ISO as it is here now, and yeah, you can go ahead and just have a little play around and see what you've got from here. But I'm going to go with the install, but before I do, let's just check first of all I'm online, and my taskbar here says that I have no network connection. That is because I don't have a wired LAN connection or into this laptop, so I am Wi-Fi only. As I can see, my Wi-Fi connection is here, so I'm just going to enter in my password here. And we just wait for that to whiz around and connect to our router. And we're now online. Excellent. Good. Right. So if I wanted to now, I could go with the online install and install my favorite desktop environment. But for the purpose of today's demonstration, I'm going to go with the offline version, which will offer me the XFCE desktop. So we click on this icon here that says Install EasyArch. And if we look at the time now, it's just about a minute or so before 5 p.m. So let's keep an eye on the time now and see exactly how long this takes to install. So now we're checking for languages. So hopefully I should see British English on option to me here now, which I will select and wait for the next icon to become active. And that's ready for us now, so click next. And I'm going to go with the offline install, and it says here at the top you can choose either online or offline. If you choose to install offline, then only the packages from the ISO will be installed, which is what I want to do here. So let's update the mirror list file. So rather than choose worldwide, I'm going to select mirror, which is closest to me. So I should be able to find United Kingdom in this list here, which I can. Next, I'm going to select a server. You can leave it as the default UK one because obviously you've chosen UK as your region. It has now chosen the UK mirror as its default there. But if you wanted to, you can of course choose more from this list here. Of course, I know for a fact that I've got ukfast.co.uk as a common one here in the UK, but I'm going to leave it set to the archlinux.uk.mirror.allworldlit.com. I think it's an I. Looks like an I. Yes, it's an IT. There we go. So we click next, and you can see now that it has selected Europe and London as my default region. Click next again, and it's here now we can set up the keyboard. So I'm going to go with English UK and stick with the default there. And just to test it out, if I press Shift and 2, I should have a quotation mark appear. Yep, there we go. And if I press Shift and the @ key, I should have the @ key. Yep, so that's UK. So we can click next. And what I'm going to do now is do a wipe of my secondary hard drive on my laptop here. So this is my solid state drive, my 256 gig drive here, which is currently registering at 238, but that's not to worry there. And of course you can see here I've got my USB dongle as well showing here also, but I'm going to install it to the solid state disk. So if I select that, you can now see that what's currently installed is here displayed at the bottom here. I currently have 3 partitions on this drive, which at this point now I want to erase the disk, and then I want to now install EasyArch as a clean install on this partition. Now as I'm doing this on my laptop, I'm going to select a swap area with Hibernate, and you can now see the current is at the top here, and you can now see at the bottom after you've chosen this slot here and it's gone through the installation process, you can see here now that it's setting up 3 partitions set up as 300 megabytes for my my boot area, and then it's got 212 for the remaining space. And because I've got 25 gigabytes, 24 gigabytes should I say, RAM installed on my laptop here, it's going to set up a swap area of 25.7 gigabytes. So because I've chosen it to do Hibernate, it means that if I choose to hibernate the system, then obviously it will use the supplied area of the hard disk to be able to hibernate and put my laptop to sleep. So we go to next now, and it's here where we enter in our user account details. So what's your name? And Robin. What do you want to log in as? Robin. What do you want to call the computer? I'm going to call my computer EasyArch. Give it a password, my secret safe password. And you can require strong passwords if need be, or you could log in automatically without asking for the password. I would normally only ever choose to use this option if I am loading this up in a virtual machine. So for this one, I'm going to choose my own password and use the same password as an administrator account. So what that will do there is it will put my name, my account, should I say, as Robin, into the super users group. So we click next now, and as it's now saying you've chosen the offline install, you can now, if you want to install additional packages, you obviously will have to do that a few steps back from where you were just now, and then obviously choose to select the online alternative over the offline, and then you can select your packages from there. So I'm going to select next. And already now we are 4 minutes into the installation. Obviously I am describing to you what I'm doing step by step here, but obviously if I was doing a normal install, I'd already be at least 2 minutes into this process by now. So here you get now just a summary of what it's about to do. It's about to create you a GPT partition. That is your 300 megabit partition, which obviously is your boot disk area. And then of course it will use the remaining disk space to be able to put your home directories and your files, etc. in there, and of course install the operating system. And then you've got the swap area as well, which is 26.34 gigabits there, which gigabytes rather, which will obviously be my swap area. So now we go to install, and we just now sit here and wait. So looking at the clock now, it's 5:04 p.m. and we'll just give this a few minutes now to install itself onto my SSD. I probably estimate this process probably is about 4 minutes long. So let's just pause for a moment there, and we'll return when the install is complete. And whilst that's happening there, and we've got the video on pause, let's just take a look at some of the chats coming through. Hello to Crown Shyness, who says thanks for the clear explanations and all the great work. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you there also. Great that you can join us here today. So 2021 for my channel at least, I'm looking to obviously do some work on it and see how well we can build it out. But obviously the purpose of the channel mostly is to obviously do my Linux walkthroughs and share this with you. As always, I'm open to suggestions, so if there's anything you'd like to know more about, then obviously feel free to reach out and let me know. And hello to Sandro Amelda, is it Almelda? I think I was getting that right there. Who's watching us now from Brazil. And another question, yeah, because why choose EasyArch and not Endeavour OS or Arco? Well, it was just an alternative, really, to be honest. I mean, you know, I am an Endeavour user, as many of you know. You know, I was just trying to look for simple and easy ways, alternative ways, besides Endeavour, really. I mean, basically, what I'm seeing in front of me here now is pretty much the same as Endeavour, just with different theming at the moment. But personal choice, generally for Arch, is always Endeavour. As I say, Arco, I tried Arco out last week, but for some reason I could only really get it working in my live USB environment. I installed it to the desktop, and I don't know, it just didn't take to it. It didn't like it. I was getting all sorts of issues. And that's quite rare for me, because I don't actually normally see that in previous installs of Arco that I've done on this same production machine. I've not actually had any issues with it, but yeah, the last few ISOs that I've tried out, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be taking too well, and I've got a part feeling it's got something to do with the NVIDIA drivers. Pretty sure it's NVIDIA that's causing me the issues. But saying that though, the Linux kernel now is on 5.10, so it could be the kernel. No issues putting Debian on this box as well. And I ran Debian 10.7 update for a few weeks and saw no issues with that one. Again, that's using an older kernel. That's running 5.4 as a kernel. You see that just now sped through, so now we're on 91%. It's installing the grub bootloader, and we're ready to go. So here we are, 5:08 p.m. So that took 4 minutes, as 4 to 6 minutes as predicted there, which is not too bad at all. Okay, let's give the system a reboot now. The screen might go blank for some time. The capture card might fall over at this point. Yep, so you can't see my grub screen at the moment. As soon as I come back to a desktop, it should come back to life. Do we have a desktop yet? No, for some reason. Okay, I'm seeing a bootloader on my screen now, and I can see that I've got the Light DM login screen, which looks absolutely beautiful, but you guys can't see that. So let me try and see if I can just pull out my HDMI cable here and push that back in again. See if I can get anything back to you. No. Okay. All right. Anyway, but trust me, you can actually now on my laptop see the Light DM window manager here. So let me just enter in my password. Chosen XFCE as its default session. And see, you're still looking at a blank screen, aren't you? Okay, so let me see. Can I reset that back again? So let me just try. Send it back to camera 1. Very odd how it does this. Now I'm wondering, because it's a clean install, whether or not it's to do with the display settings on the laptop not outputting to my HDMI card here. So let's just now bring up the display options. Ah, there you go, that's the reason why. So let me now enable the secondary screen, which is disabled now. Ah, there you go. So you're seeing something now? I believe so. Can you see me moving the mouse around? Yes, you can. All right. Just one problem here now is that my laptop's gone black, but I can see you now on my OBS. So let me just try and enable the laptop again. So let's keep the configuration. Okay, so let's now get the resolutions right. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to choose 1366 by 768 on the screen and the laptop. If I now mirror the display and click apply, I should have you now on both screens. I do, but you're currently set to 1024 by 768, so we change that to 1366 again. And what are you on the laptop? Change you from 1024 to 1366. Click apply. And there we go. How does that look to you now? All good? Okay, so you should now see what I'm seeing on my laptop screen, which is a full screen with a panel, and we've now come back to the option again to choose a desktop layout. So we've done the installation, and that took 6 minutes to complete, and here we are now in Arch Linux. We are here in EasyArch, which is the XFCE environment. So the first thing I need to do obviously is enable my Wi-Fi. So if I just do that and I enter in our login details. Yep, we're now connected and online. So let me just choose the layout. If I select the top left, I'm going to go with the default font, the default theme for now. And this is welcome to Arch Linux. So here you are now. So you've got as your final welcome screen here some links through to the Arch Linux website. We will be taking a look at that at some point in this walkthrough, so that obviously we can get our package lists and download some various things from that website there. So let's take a look what we got out of the box straight away. XFCE, this should be 4.14. So if I just go to the menu and click about XFCE, yep, so we're on 4.14 as it's XFCE release here at the moment. So it hasn't brought down 4.16 yet, so for that we'll need to do a system update. So we're going to a terminal, and the first thing that you're greeted with here is would you like to update? So I'm going to say yes, and what that's going to do now is update, and that's updated the ZSH. So just to point out here, you're not using bash, you're using ZSH as your default grub window there. So let me just clear this one out. It's a nice looking terminal, by the way. It is using the XFCE terminal, but I do like the look and feel of this one here. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a sudo pacman-syu. This will do a system update. Enter in my password. And let's just see what it wants to do now. So replace Xord server Wayland with Xord Wayland. Yes, we'll do that. And you can see here now that it's going to bring down about a gig's worth of updates, which does include the new XFCE 4.16. So we'll say yes to that one. Now, not sure how long this takes to update, but obviously I've got a quite fast internet connection here. So depending on your connection and your setup, this could be anything from a minute to 5 minutes, really. It's doing a system update here, so we shouldn't see any prompts asking us to enter our passwords. There it's downloading the FFmpeg encoders. Updating Python. Yep, and here comes now the XFCE 4.16 packages. You can see how fast that's running there. Incidentally, I'm running this on a Lenovo ThinkPad E480. Which is one of the i3 8th gens, I think it is. It's probably a 6th or an 8th gen. I have to check the model numbers on that one. I think it's an 8th gen. And we've got 24 gigabytes of RAM in this. Okay, so now we've got it making up image for the Linux fallback. It's like a rollback. It means if I get any problems during boot up, it means I've got an option to roll back to the last known and best known configuration. And there we are. So that took just over a minute to complete there. Like I say, depending on your hardware setup, so if you have a spinning hard drive, obviously that will take probably about 3 to 6 minutes maybe to complete there. And of course you've got your internet speed to also think about there. Right, that's done. So let's just do a quick now. If I do it again, sudo pacman-syu, it should say that we're all up to date. Indeed we are. So I know for a fact that NeoFetch will not be installed on here, so let's just install that now. So sudo pacman-s, and we do NeoFetch, and we install NeoFetch. Just clear this screen and we run NeoFetch just to get some details. So here we are. So I'm not running anything on this system at the moment, so it's idle, and we're looking at 814 megabytes of its 24 gig RAM being currently used right now. So this is EasyArch running the Linux kernel on 5.9.1 at the moment. Now, I do know, as I was testing this out the other day, that it will eventually upgrade itself to 5.10, and it does now say that we've got some packages waiting for us to update here. So if I click this, we've got some updates. So if I just apply those, enter in my password. It's interesting to see that I don't need to install the Hamac package manager because it's already installed. This is what we're using here now. And if I go to the start menu and start typing in add remove, there we go. See, there we go. Add remove software, and this loads up this package manager here. So whilst that's doing that, let's go to browse, and if I look at some photo and video software, nothing's there yet because we need to refresh the packages, we refresh the database, but we'll do that once the updates have installed here. Okay, so in the meantime, I know one thing for a fact, because we are in XFCE as its default desktop environment here, I need to install the XFCE goodie pack. So let's do that now. So if I go sudo pacman-s, keep doing SYU, so used to typing that. So we need to install the XFCE 4-goodies. Let's do that now. And that will bring down, let's just check, has it got the weather in there? Yes, it's got the XFCE weather plugin installed, so we'll just do enter for that. Proceed with installation, yes. Okay, now I'm loving this terminal because it tells you how long in the bottom here that transaction took. So 16 seconds. Now that's probably 16, I didn't say a word, let's just try it. If I run NeoFetch again, yeah, NeoFetch, it ran less than a second, so I didn't have a chance to time it properly. Okay, so Package Manager has now done its updates, so let me just now come into the menu here and refresh those databases. Transaction complete. Next I'm going to go into the preferences, and we are going to, I'm going to automatically download updates and then hide the tray icon when no update is available. You can see now in our taskbar here that the shield icon has disappeared. That's because the updates have now happened. Check for available disk space. Remove unrequired dependencies. I tend to turn that on. Enable my downgrade if I get any issues. The Arch user repository is on, but the keep built packages in cache is disabled, and check for updates is enabled. That's fine. Under cache, remove only the versions of uninstalled packages. That's deselected, so I'm going to select that, and I'm going to just ask it to keep 3 versions of each package in the cache. There's nothing there at the moment, that's why the clean cache button is disabled, which is good news. Now we've done that, I'll just try and refresh the databases again. And that's good. Right, so under featured, groups, categories. Yeah, see, no software's loading when I'm choosing categories, but it does load when I choose repositories. Okay. Right. Well, let's have a look at the extras. And if I just do XFCE, what do we get back? XFCE 4. Backdrops for the XFCE desktop. Oh, no, I don't want to remove those. Let's just see. So these are all installed currently right now. So let me just check for that weather. My friendly weather applet. Yeah, that's installed and working. Okay, great. Right, that's fine. We'll just close that down for now. We'll just minimize the terminal. Now you can see here that it's put the window buttons, the active ones that you've currently got open at the moment, in the center of your panel here. You've got the option to move that across to the left if you want to do that. So to do that, if you just right click over the panel, and from panel choose panel preferences. And if you go into items, you can see here that the window buttons are here, separated out by separation lines. It's just a case of highlighting it and then moving it up the list there next to or just after your quick launchers there. I'm going to keep it in the middle because I do like to keep that there actually. I'll do that. Right, so let's install the weather applet now. So if we go to plus, and we'll just see if that is ready for us. So there we go, weather updates. We'll just add that in. Next, I will do the show desktop icon. And we'll do that there. And in the weather, if we just highlight this now and we click the settings icon here. Apologies, I've got some messages coming through from work. Where did that go? Why is that not updating? I'll close that down for now. If we just, right, this is the weather panel down here, weather applet. So if we just right click that, yeah, you don't want to load. Ah, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's quite a bit missing actually. All right, let's log out. Let's log out and log in again. I might need to do a full system restart on this one. Oh, now you can see it. So this is what the login screen looks like. How pretty is that? Incidentally, if you choose another desktop environment, or if you've installed another desktop environment, but you still use the light DM, obviously display manager, then you can select your session from the session drop-down list here. And that will say a Budgie, XFCE, or Cinnamon, whatever you choose to install. Okay, so we're booted now back up into a fresh installation of, hopefully now, XFCE 4.16. So let me just go to the About. I think we're in 4.16 now, which is probably why we were... Yes, we are. That's probably why we were having some issues just now, because it needed to do a full reboot or log out and load up the new version of the desktop environment. So we're now officially on XFCE 4.16. Hello to Akshat in the chat there. Hello, great to see you join us here. He says he'll be installing Deepin over it. It'll be a good idea. Yeah, in fact, yeah. Will installing Deepin over it be a good idea? You probably could actually. Let me just see if that is available to us in the package manager. We do obviously have ways to put the Deepin desktop environment onto this Arch system, so shouldn't be a problem. But if I just search for Deepin, we should see the Deepin desktop. Yep, there we go. So the Deepin desktop base is there. I believe so, yeah. Let's just see if it's available to us in the package. So if we go sudo pacman -s, and if we just do, I don't know. I think I'm going to search for it. I'm not going to install it. I'm just going to do a search by putting a small s after the capital S. So Deepin, I think I've got to search for Deepin desktop. Yeah, so the Deepin desktop base. Okay. Let's just see quickly, so I can show you quickly here if it is actually in the Arch linux.org package list. Now if I do a search for Deepin, oops. So Deepin desktop base, the base component for Deepin. Yeah, Deepin window manager, Deepin, there's the wallpapers. That might be nice. But anyway, it might be a good idea actually to check out the live ISO and do an actual online install and see if you get Deepin offered to you as a desktop environment. They have got Deepin packages in the Arch repository here, so it should be an option to you there, but worth giving it a try. I know for a fact that you can get Cinnamon. You can see there, this line here, you can install the Cinnamon desktop environment. You've also got the Budgie desktop, I believe. Yep, Budgie desktop is there. What else is there? So you got XFCE, Budgie, GNOME. So you should have GNOME and GNOME extras. So GNOME extras is not there. The GNOME software is, and the GNOME shell extensions. So GNOME is quite a common desktop environment, but that's offered to you in the online install part of the process there. So give it a try and just see how you get on with that one there. Anyway, back to the live demo. So we've done an install now. We've looked at the package manager and told it now to look at the Arch user repository. So now if I do a search for, say, Spotify, it is available to us on the Git repositories, but not in the main repository. How about snapd? So snap, you got snap and snappy. No. Alright. So under normal circumstances, I would normally just go to sudo pacman -s and then I'll type in snapd and that will install. But on this case, it's probably because I haven't added the packages to the list there. So if I go to snapcraft.io, and if we go and search for Spotify, click into Spotify, and if we go to install, and because we haven't got snaps installed on here yet, if I go to get set, select Arch Linux from the distributions without snap pre-installed list here, and then we choose now the commands that we got here. So we need to run this git command first of all, so highlight it, right click and copy, load up a terminal, and we'll do a let's just see. First of all, better just see if Git is installed. Where is Git? Yeah, Git is installed, so that means we can just do now a paste on that line. It might want us to run it as a super user, but let's just see how we get on. Yeah, that's cloned it already. Okay, so now I can do a cd snapd. We are now in the snapd folder, so now we can go to make package, which is make pkg, and then we can tell it to do a installation on that one. Enter in my password, of course, because it needs to access certain files as root, and we'll say yes to that. And it wants to update the conflicting packages, so we say yes to that. And that's doing a good job so far. So we've got Snap version 2.48.2-1 coming down now. And that's great, wonderful. So speaking of desktop environments, just seeing another note in the chat here. Once you are installed on the offline version of EasyArch and you do get online and you think to yourself, I want to install another desktop environment, that is possible to do. What we do is, if you know the commands, you can just do sudo. Let's just come out of this snapd area whilst we're as root. Let me just clear this out. You can just simply go sudo pacman-s, and then if you want the GNOME desktop environment, you can just do GNOME. And you want GNOME extras or extra? I think it's GNOME extra. I'll try extras. Yep, so there's GNOME is available to you there. So you've got the extra packages as well. Yep, so that will install GNOME. So let's just do that now. Fact, yep, so default all. So for that one I can just press the enter key. What didn't it like? So GNOME backgrounds, it's reinstalled those. Target not found, GNOME extra. Yes, so it's GNOME extra, not GNOME extras. Yep, that's it. I'm sure that's it. Yep, there we go. So we just say that. Yeah, that's looking promising. So you need GNOME extras as an extra package on top of the GNOME desktop environment to install, say, applets, for example. And what we should get in a moment when that's installed is I can log out and I should be able to select GNOME as my next desktop environment. Incidentally, what is your favorite desktop environment? You can let me know in the comments, of course. So it's creating a backup again in the fallback image. Exactly what we saw when it was doing the upgrade to XFCE 4.16. So for those of you that are new to XFCE 4.16, one of the great things I'm seeing about this new release is the option now to install themes that you've downloaded via the actual Appearance plugin, of course, there. Before, you used to be able to have to log in as a super user and then browse to the themes or the icons folder and copy and paste your themes into those folders there, but you don't need to do those no longer. So if you go to the XFCE Looks website, for example, and you think, oh, I like the look of that theme there, you can download the tar file, the tar.gz file, save that into your downloads folder, and then when you go to Appearance, I just select the menu here and go into Appearance, you can see now you've got this add option here. So if you go to add, you can then browse to your downloads area and then grab the tar file from there. Incidentally, with EasyArch, you've got obviously these themes here. So remember when we did the install and you got to the welcome screen and it asked you to choose a layout and a theme? The reason why it did that obviously is because if you chosen, say, Windows 10 like theme, then obviously if you did that, then it will be selecting Windows 10 here as a style within the Appearance plugin. At the moment I'm on the default Materia Compact, and if we look at icons I'm on Adwaita, but you've got the option to go with the if you look under style, you've got where is it, Sierra Dark, Sierra Light, and if that's Sierra, then obviously you can choose the Mac Mojave Circle Dark and Circle Light icons there. So that's just one of the things I do like to see now, the fact that I can install that from there. Great. Okay, so we've installed Snap. Let's just now quickly see if I can do a sudo snap install Spotify. Cannot communicate with server localhost. That's probably because I've got the package manager open still. Or we might need to do a restart. I think that's probably what that is. Anyway, if we now log out of the XFCE area, and from the list now, if I, from the drop down list now, can select GNOME, you've got GNOME Classic and GNOME Org. I don't know why there's two options of GNOME here, but anyway, we'll go with the default GNOME. If you are seeing that you're getting some issues, then I would probably say for the NVIDIA users amongst us, it's probably better that you choose GNOME on Xorg. GNOME Classic takes you to a vanilla GNOME desktop environment, but if you go with GNOME, you should be able to get the latest from the 3.38.4 release, I believe. But let's just take a look now and see if that is the case. So we log in, and we should see GNOME. And you guys are seeing what on your screen right now? So I'm guessing you're not seeing my main screen. So let me just go into display and ask that to mirror. Keep the changes so you can now see my desktop. It's perfect. So Wi-Fi is already selected and enabled. And if I go into About, let's see what version of GNOME we've got. It says 3.38.2, so there's probably an update we need to do to that release there. Okay, so let's go into our apps here and we'll find the terminal. So it's still got the XFCE terminal in there. That's fine, we can still go with that. Okay, so let's just now do a sudo pacman-syu, and there's nothing to update. Okay, and that is interesting. Okay, so let's do an SU, nothing to update, SUU, SYY. Yeah, so that did update something there, that's fine. They're all now in sync. So it's interesting to see that the GNOME desktop has come down as 3.38.2, so I'll just wait to see if there's any updates on that one there. So now we've got the GNOME desktop up and running, so we'll just take a quick look here at what we've got. Yeah, so we've got all of the apps we brought down from the XFCE environment. But like I said, if you wanted the GNOME environment in the first place, then obviously I would have chosen the online installer rather than the offline installer, and then that would have brought me straight into GNOME. Likewise for any other of the desktop environments as well. So let's just see. So there's GNOME now. We should have Firefox already installed, pre-installed, I think. There we go, Firefox is there. Excellent, yeah, that's fine. Now then, yes, now that might be another thing as well. So can I do a Control T to get my, no, Window T? No. Okay, so the super key works. The only thing I'm not seeing at the moment is a terminal. Okay, so let's just do a sudo snap, not install. Spotify. What did I do there? Sudo snap. Oh, you don't. It is installed. That's what you're doing wrong, Robin. Still can't communicate. Okay, that's fine. So that looks to me like it's disabled. So we have to enable it now using this command. That's done. Let's enable the classic view. That's done. And we'll just log out and log in again, which you do from over here. I'm just going to add that to our favorites. There we go. So let's now try again. Sudo snap install Spotify. Still got an error. I think this is going to require a full system restart on this one. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so let's have a look at the backgrounds. So you've got the generic GNOME backgrounds now. Great. So I'm going to look at settings again. Checking out what the default applications are. So we've got Firefox as our web browser, Evolution or Thunderbird as our mail clients. And there's me as my user, but I got a chance to set up more users here. I know one thing that will be wrong, especially now I'm in GNOME, is I don't have the tweak tool, do I? So sudo pacman-s, we do GNOME tweak tool. There we go. It's done. Yep, there's the tweaks tool. So it's here now that I can choose my look and feel. So I'm going to go with add weighted dark. That's fine. Under title bars now, so I have to enable my minimize and my maximize. You now see that those buttons appeared now in my toolbar here. Top bar, so currently we have got date and time, but I want to show my weekday and my week numbers. And it's here now. I should be able to install an extension. So if I bring up the Firefox browser, is that the GNOME browser? That's the GNOME browser, isn't it? Just drop Firefox into the dock. That's better. Right. So you want extensions .gnome.org. There we go. And we'll install the browser extension. We'll enable the user themes. Oh yeah, we need to enable the, what was it, the GNOME shell, isn't it? Terminal. Paste. So we're going to now install the Chrome GNOME shell. That's now done. We come back to the main extensions page, refresh that. Yep, there we go, we've got our controls now. So user themes, if we just turn that on now, we can also update the extension. And that's done and installed. What else might we need? So let's look at weather. Yep, open weather. We'll just install that. Perfect. Just change my locale. Let's add in Rochester, Kent. We remove this. And we just change the units from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Our pressure to millibars. And we want conditions in panel. There we go. Overcast clouds. Brilliant, so that's done. I've got my weather applet up and running there now. That will update soon. It's not updating at the moment, but it will update soon. Okay, so extensions. We're going to want dash to dock. Let's just enable that. There we go. Brilliant. So if I do a right click now, I've got dash to dock settings. And I can go bottom. Turn auto hide off. Just for the moment while I'm configuring the dock. So if I reduce the size of the icons. And appearance, shrink the dash. There we go. What else can I do? So we go. Oh yeah. So click action. We want that to be minimize or overview. Move the applications button to the beginning of the dock. And still show trash can and do the animation. Perfect. Okay. So another, let's just check the, yeah, see the, I'm clicking and you can see the animations are quite okay, but a bit slow for my liking. So to improve that one, I need now to include, what was that one called? Well, it began with an I, didn't it? Ah. Hold on, I want to just look this up. I remember tweeting about it the other day, and now I've forgotten the name of it. There it is, got it. It's impatience. There it is. Install that one there. And if I go into the tweaks tool and now go to extensions, there's my impatience. And if I click on the settings, I should now be able to change the speed. So if I bring it down to say 0.6, you see how quick that is? That's more like it. Yeah, so those animations are quite good now. So the only other remaining extension that I like to use, the dynamic panel transparency. See if that works, or does that error? Oh, it looks to have worked. Okay, but while I've got Firefox set as full screen, it's gone black. But if I now minimize pretty much everything, there we go. Do you see that transparent now? Lovely. Okay. So one final thing for me in terms of my setup here on Arch Linux, the easy way, is for me now to install via the software center, if it works. Let's see, can we search for Fondo? Yep, there we go. Right, brilliant. I absolutely love this application because this gives you some fantastic desktop wallpapers from the Unsplash website. So we'll just install that and change the default background. And then we'll leave it at that, and I'll install some more software later this evening. So what we've been playing around out with Easy Linux for nearly an hour. But saying that though, I've installed 2 desktop environments and I've been installing plugins and yeah, configuring it. So I think it's still pretty darn good, and we managed to get Arch installed onto the laptop in under 10 minutes. We got the XFC environment updated to the latest 4.16 release, and we installed another desktop environment on top of that one, this GNOME desktop here, which was good. I've enabled and installed some extensions, so the GNOME desktop environment has a few extras in there. Now if I launch Fondo, so let me just close out of that one and do a search for Fondo. I mean, look at these. This is fantastic, aren't they? So just to say, if you're not familiar with this, all of the images that featured inside this client are from the Unsplash website. And I like it because it just means I haven't got to actually browse thousands upon thousands worth of images on thousands of pages on that website there. So you've got the option here to change into a dark mode via this button here. And if you click on the 3 dots, you can ask this client to only show you images that are from landscape view. So now you can see it's bringing through some images from the websites that are in landscape. So what it does is under the today option here, it shows you the new images uploaded today. But if you go into categories, obviously you've got the chance to look at nature, animal, food and drink, space, sport, business, work, fashion, arts and culture, architecture, texture and pattern, technology and flat lay. I like to look at the nature ones and spot some nice mountain views. Get lots of memories of Bob Ross paintings when I look at these. Let's just choose this one here. Reminds me of the elementary desktop. But you can see I've just selected it, it's downloaded it, and has already made it my desktop wallpaper, which is fantastic. Hey ho, so I've just pretty much made my GNOME desktop now look like elementary. Which is all good. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it there now. So thank you very much for joining us for this EasyArch install. As I say, it's, there are other clients, other desktops available to be able to obviously get Arch up and running for you within 10 minutes. So Manjaro obviously is pretty much #1 on that list there. But Endeavour OS, I would probably say, is the nearest and dearest to this EasyArch distribution here. But I will say the EasyArch distribution, when you download the ISO, it's about 700 megabytes, I think, or 1.6 gigs, I can't remember what it was. But once you've got it downloaded, you run the install with Calamares install, and then if you, again, just a reminder, if you choose the offline version, it installs the XFC 4.14 desktop environment. But obviously, during the system upgrade, you can get the 4.16 release coming down from the repositories there. Or if you choose the online version, you can of course install via that option there and choose which desktop environment you prefer there, be it Deepin, Budgie, XFCE, Cinnamon, etc. So let us know how you get on in the comments below, and yeah, appreciate some feedback as well on that. As I say, the channel moving forward, we're looking to do a few more live streams here or there, but I need to think about really what we're going to be doing in terms of content for those live streams. As I say, I'm a regular contributor of the Big Daddy Linux podcast, of course, there, but we're taking a bit of a break on that one there as Rocco deals with personal issues and work-related issues. Obviously, he's worked his socks off for the last 2.5 years on that, so we don't blame him for that one there. So look out for us appearing in other podcasts here or there. As I say, here on this channel, do by all means like and follow and subscribe. You can find me over there on Twitter at RobinJust, and you see me posting lots of weather and Linux related stories there, which is a good feed to follow there in your Twitter feed. Yeah, and obviously you've got my website over there at digitalrobin.net if you want to contact me via that means there as well. So thanks very much for joining us here today on this live stream, and I appreciate your company here today. Like I say, if you've got any comments or feedback, then just drop that in and let us know. We've got more walkthrough videos coming soon. We are kind of approaching that end of the quarter where lots of distributions now are getting ready to launch betas for their April releases. So I probably would think we've got a Fedora 34 coming soon. I'm anxiously awaiting the release of Elementary 6. When that comes, I definitely will be heavily releasing, obviously producing a lot of content around that one there on the channel. So yeah, in the meantime, thanks very much for joining us, and do by all means follow us. And if you've got any suggestions for the channel, then do by all means let us know. If I haven't met up with you beforehand, thank you for joining us, and I wish you all a happy new year. Let's hope 2021 is a better year than 2020. So until next time we meet, thanks very much for joining us, and I'll catch you again in a future video.